What's up, y'all? It's Sunday, December 27th. Welcome back to another edition of the Wildcats and Then Some podcast. I'm your host, Deshaun. So, hope y'all enjoyed your holidays. I know I did. Got to see my family a little bit, ate some good food, got some gifts. It was overall a great holiday. Have no complaints. Just glad to live to see 31 years, and here's to a better 2021. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year, not just for me, but for everybody else out there. So, first things first, I'm gonna have to eat me a big old slice of humble pie. Yep, I can't remember which podcast it was. I think it was the previous two, not the last one I did, but the last one I did. I know before the college basketball season started, I made a podcast and I proclaimed that this year is Final Four or bust for Kentucky. And yeah, we suck. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. We suck. I mean, I love Kentucky. I'm always going to support the Wildcats, football, basketball, whatever. But we suck this year. Like, it's ugly, man. 1-6. Like, I figured we would have some struggles early on in the season, but I didn't expect us to be 1-6. And to make matters worse, we lost to Louisville, our arch rival, a team that we beat, I think, 13 times since Calipari's been our coach. And that's including regular season and NCAA tournament games. So yeah, I mean, this season, it's embarrassing. Like, I haven't gave up hope yet for this team, but if they don't turn it around soon, ain't gonna be no NCAA tournament. I mean, if Kentucky doesn't turn it around, we can forget about the NCAA tournament. We can also forget about the NIT. Hell, we can probably forget about the CBI or whatever the hell that other tournament is that's lower than the NIT. Like, Kentucky is bad, really bad, and that's just me being nice and sugarcoating it. I, in my wildest dreams, did not expect it. I thought, excuse me, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, now I remember. I thought after that debacle we had in 2012 and 2013, I didn't think we'd ever have another season like that. I mean, I thought the Archie Goodwin and Nerlens Noel Kentucky team was bad, but nah. This team is worse. Like, this team can't shoot. Defensively, they gotten better, but they still make mental mistakes on the defensive end. Can't finish. Like, I don't know what good I can say about this team. I mean, I guess they're long and athletic. I mean, that's probably the only positive I can say about this team, because they're bad. Really, really bad. Now, maybe B.J. Boston and Terrence Clark were rated higher than what they should have been. I don't know. Maybe Olivier Sarr just wasn't as good as advertised. Maybe it was COVID. Hell, I mean, because of COVID, practice time is restricted. They couldn't play any preseason games. But still, I mean, there's no excuse for us to be as bad as we are. None. Like, I just don't. And to make matters worse, I mean, there's internal conflict between coaches and players. Like, Calipari appointed 3 players to handle non-basketball stuff or whatever the hell he said. And I'm just over here scratching my head, like, just thinking, you're the head coach. That's your job to handle bad apples on the team, if there are any, not the players. Like, what are you doing? Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love John Calipari. He rescued Kentucky out of the abyss when we were on our way to irrelevancy with Billy Gillispie. But Coach Cal, you gotta do something different, dude. I don't know. Actually, I do have an idea. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna listen, but he gotta do something different. Like, Calipari is just too stubborn. Like, instead of recruiting 5 or 6 players who got one of the potential, why don't you go after guys go after only one or two players who have one and done potential. And the rest of your recruiting class be players who will stay for 2 to 3 years. Because, I mean, this one and done stuff, it's won us 20 plus games every year, but we've only got one championship out of it. We should have won the championship in 2015. We could have won the championship in 2014. We should have won his first year at Kentucky. But all we got to show, for all these players that we've sent to the NBA, all we got is one championship to show for. Now, I'm not against one and done. I mean, you got to have talent to win championships in college basketball. Now, I'm not saying the whole team got to be one and done freshmen, but you got to have some NBA level talent in order to win a championship. There hasn't been a championship team without them. It is what it is. Like, look at Virginia, who was the last NCAA champion. Yeah, their three best players are all in the NBA. Tyler Jerome, he's playing for the Suns. DeAndre Hunter is playing for the Hawks. And Kyle Guy is playing for the Kings. Now, none of those three guys were McDonald's All-Americans, but, I mean, Tony Bennett coached them up to the point where NBA scouts were really looking at them like, you know what, these kids do got some NBA potential. The year before, it was Villanova. They had McDonald's All-American Jalen Brunson, who currently plays for my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. Mikal Bridges, who plays for the Phoenix Suns. Dante DiVincenzo, who plays for the Bucks. And Amari Spellman, who I think he plays for the Hawks. I don't know for sure, but the point is, you got to have NBA players, future NBA players, in order to win a championship. So I'm not suggesting that Calipari just stops recruiting one-and-done players whatsoever. Because if he stops getting them, then they'll just go to Duke or North Carolina or Kansas or some of these other schools that are in competition with Kentucky. But maybe just recruit one or two guys who are one-and-done potential. And the other recruits be guys who will stay for 2 to 3 years. Another suggestion that I would like to say, recruit some players who have an NBA-ready skill set. I look at this Kentucky team, and I really don't see anybody who has an NBA-ready skill set. I mean, B.J. Boston, the scout said he's one of the best scorers as well as one of the best shooters in his high school senior class, but through 7 games, B.J. Boston can't shoot a lick. He's a bad 3-point shooter right now. He can't finish through contact, can't finish at the rim consistently. I mean, he's just long and athletic. That's it. Terrence Clark, now, he wasn't known for his shooting coming out of high school. So I'm not surprised that Terrence Clark has been struggling with his shot, but B.J. Boston is definitely a surprise. Terrence Clark, yeah, scouts said he was long, athletic, plays good defense, has an improving jump shot, but he ain't shot the ball that well at Kentucky. I mean, he's had some good games, but overall, it hasn't really helped us because we're 1-6. Devin Askew, he's supposed to be a good shooter. He ain't shot the ball well this year. Olivier Sarr, he was all ACC when he played for Wake Forest last year, and he ain't really done too much besides the first couple games. And he's been scoreless the last 2-3 games now at Kentucky. He was scoreless against Louisville. He was scoreless against North Carolina. I think he was scoreless against Notre Dame too. I don't know. But Olivier Sarr ain't really done much for us either. It's a nightmare season, if there's any way I can put it. It's a nightmare. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for Kentucky. But, this is the monster that Calipari created. When you rely heavily on one-and-done talent, you have no margin for error. So, when the guys aren't as good as advertised, stuff's going to hit the fan and everybody's going to get dirty. It's not just that we can't do anything. Now, okay, scratch that. Kentucky, defensively, yeah, they have improved. They've looked pretty good the last couple of games on the defensive end, but we can't score worth of nothing. Can't shoot threes, can't finish at the rim, can't hit free throws. Like, do they even practice free throws? Like, this has been a problem every damn year since Calipari's been in Kentucky. Like, I don't, even when we won the championship in 2012, free throw shooting was a problem. And I don't know why Calipari doesn't address it. It's like he's too stubborn, or I don't know, maybe he's too stubborn, maybe he's stuck in his way, stubborn, doesn't want to change with the times, I don't know. But yo, Coach Cal, please recruit some guys who have NBA ready skill set. Recruit some scorers, recruit some shooters. Don't just recruit the long athletic guys with upside, because they don't always pan out. I'm just saying. I mean, shooters don't always pan out either, but still, we need something. Something's got to give. Because whatever you're doing, it ain't working. Well, it hasn't worked at all this year. I mean, especially considering the off the court stuff with Cameron Fletcher. Now, me personally, I wish I could be a fly on the wall just so I could see what is going on in UK's practices. Because I don't understand why Cameron Fletcher ain't getting no playing time. I don't understand why Dante Allen isn't getting any playing time. Now, Coach Cal essentially kicked Cameron Fletcher off the team. I'd be surprised if he comes back. Because, I mean, it's his comments after Saturday's loss in Louisville just startled me. Coach Cal gonna say, "Oh, this is the most fun I've had coaching all year." I'm like, "Do what? You're 1-6. What the hell you mean this is the most fun you had? Like, you've only won one game this year, and yet you thought, and you're having fun now? Like, I'm confused. What's so fun about being 1-6? What's so fun about not being in the top 25 and potentially not even going to the NIT tournament? You call that fun?" Like, I understand. I mean, I'm not a coach myself, but I get it. Coaches say all the time, you got to earn your minutes. Understandable. But from a player's perspective, I also get it. Like, if I was a player and one of these high-profile coaches came to my house telling me that, "Oh, I can get you to the NBA, and I'll come to play for you, but yet you won't give me no minutes," I'd be upset too. I understand why Cameron Fletcher's upset. I mean, he can't be doing that bad in practice to where he doesn't deserve any minutes at all. He only played 2 minutes in the game against North Carolina. Now, it's obvious Coach Cal plays favorites, but I just don't get it. Like, Cameron Fletcher can't be that bad. Like, seriously, he can't be that bad to where he deserves no minutes. I mean, Terrence Clark and BJ Boston, yeah, they're our highest rated recruits, but they're not playing that well. Cameron Fletcher can't be that much worse than them to where he doesn't deserve minutes. Same with Dante Allen. Dante Allen is supposed to be the best shooter on the team, but yet Calipari won't even give him a minute of playing time. And he keeps saying, "Oh, Dante Allen, your time will come. Your time will come. You got to be ready." But when's it coming? I mean, it's 7 games in the season. You haven't played them much except for the Morehead State game and for like a few minutes against Richmond. When's it coming? Like, don't get his hopes up just to crush him. Me personally, if Cameron Fletcher and Dante Allen both decide to transfer, I wouldn't be mad at him. Because Coach Cal, he talks a good game, but he ain't backing it up. I mean, it is what it is. It's the truth. He's not. He claims he's players first, but he's playing favorites with his players. He's making players. He's putting his players in charge. Like, that's your job. You the one. You supposed to be in charge. If you're not going to take charge, at least deviate the responsibility to your assistant coaches. Now, there's a lot of chatter in There's a lot of chatter in Big Blue Nation calling for Calipari's head. A lot of Kentucky fans are tired of them one and done. They're tired of him losing in the Elite Eight. They want Coach Calipari fired. Now, I'm not jumping on the fire Calipari bandwagon just yet, but if you want to keep your job, you've been at Kentucky for 12 years now. This is your 12th season at UK. If you want to keep your job at Kentucky for another decade, you can't have another season like this. If Kentucky goes, I don't know, let's say they go 10-17 or something, They don't make it to the NIT. They don't make it to the CBI. I mean, I'll let it slide this year, but Calipari, if you have another year like this, Mitch Barnhart needs to think long and hard about. Mitch Barnhart needs to think hard about keeping you around, because I mean, you've been here 12 years and you've only got one championship to show for it. Now, I'm a reasonable guy. I mean, I don't expect UK to win the championship every season, but yeah, losing in the Elite Eight every year because we can't shoot, or or Calipari just doesn't want to make any adjustments, it gets annoying. Sorry, I don't mean to backtrack here, but yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at Cameron Fletcher if he decides to transfer. Same with Dante Allen. When you look at, they wouldn't be the first, and they probably won't be they probably won't be the last either. I mean, it's no coincidence that almost every player who has left Kentucky has gone on to play better at their new school. Like Jamal Baker. Jamal Baker is averaging 15 points per game right now playing for Arizona. He's shooting 50% from the field and 40% from the three-point line. We could use that at Kentucky, but no. John Calipari wouldn't let him play. If Jamal Baker made one little mistake, he would put him on the bench for the next 5 games in a row. Johnny Juzang, he done transferred to UCLA. He doing all right. He's averaging 10 points per game. His shooting numbers aren't there, but we could have used Johnny Juzang. Kyle Wiltjer, that was years ago. He played 2 years for Kentucky. He helped us win a national championship as a freshman. I think he was a 6th man his sophomore year. Then he transferred to Gonzaga. He goes to Gonzaga. He wins the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, and I think he even took them to the Final Four. Who else? Charles Matthews transferred from Kentucky, went to Michigan. Charles Matthews went to the championship game while Kentucky was at home watching. Now, I mean, would we have won the championship if Charles Matthews stayed? I don't know, but Charles Matthews played a big part in Michigan getting to the championship. I mean, he could have played a part in helping Kentucky, but Calipari ran him off. So, I mean, I say it again, Coach. This year, we can let this year slide, but if you have another season like this, Kentucky probably needs to cut ties with you. It is what it is. Anyways, enough about Kentucky. I just want to say shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers for beating the Colts. I mean, that helps my Titans and their playoff position. They're playing right now against the Packers. Last I checked, they was losing 6-0, but hopefully Tennessee can pull off this win and improve our playoff positioning. Right now, we're on top of the AFC South. Right now, if the season were to end today, we'd be the 4th seed in the AFC, which is good, but I mean, we still have a chance to move up. So hopefully we'll beat the Packers. I still stand by my preseason prediction, though, that the Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl, because I mean, really, who can stop them? Like, Kansas City can go out there and score 40 points on anybody. Now, they have been struggling. They've won their last, 7-8 games by less than a touchdown. So, they're not unbeatable. But they're really hard to stop. And I think, but they're not unbeatable. I mean, I think if my Titans meet the Chiefs again in the playoffs, I think we'll win this time, because we got a pretty good offense too. I think Tennessee has scored the most points of any team this year. They're top 3, top 5 in total yards. I mean, Derrick Henry leads the league. Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing yards. Tannehill, he's had a great season again. We're pretty good. We broke the 9-7 curse. We're sitting at 10-4. Hopefully we'll finish the season 12-4, but I mean, anything can happen between today's game with the Packers and then our last game against the Texans. But I think we can keep up with the Chiefs. It's just, in order for us to beat the Chiefs, our defense is going to have to come through. I mean, we can score on anybody. We really can. It's just a matter of preventing the other team from keeping up with us. That's what we've had the most trouble with all year. Now we've had some games this year where we've blown out our opponents. We blew out Buffalo. We blew out the Colts the second time we played them. We blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars the second time we played them. We blew out the Lions. So we can do it. It's just a matter of doing it consistently. That's the issue. But yeah, if Tennessee does go on to the Super Bowl, that's great. I mean, I'll be happy that my prediction about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl was wrong. But yeah, hopefully if Tennessee does get there, they will get the job done and bring the first Super Bowl home to Nashville and make all the Titan fans proud. Shout out to Tom Brady. I'm not a fan of Brady, not a fan of the Patriots, but Tom Brady done got the Buccaneers into the playoffs for the first time since 2007. Now, of course, I'm not going to give all the credit to Brady. I mean, he does have some great receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He does have Gronk. Their defense is pretty good. But yeah, first time since 2007, Bucs in the playoffs. I think this year proves that Bill Belichick needs Tom Brady more than Tom Brady needs Bill Belichick. Because the Buccaneers are in the playoffs. I think they're 10-5 now. I think they're 10-5. I don't know. But they're going to the playoffs. New England is, I think, 5-6-8. They're not going to the playoffs. Now when they signed Cam Newton, I thought they'd be somewhat competitive, which in some games they have been, but in some games they've looked absolutely terrible. Excuse me. But I can't put all the blame on Cam Newton. Bill Belichick is the head coach as well as the general manager for the Patriots. And, he didn't do anything to help the Patriots improve. He didn't bring in any receivers to help Cam Newton. He didn't improve the defense. He did nothing. He just sat on his ass and hoped for the best. And it didn't work out. Any other shout outs I want to give a shout out to? Shout out to AJ Brown. Shout out to Jonnu Smith. Shout out to all the Titans who have helped contribute to this 10-win season. Again, shout out to the Steelers. Thank you for beating the Colts. We appreciate it. Shout out to any Kentucky players in the NFL. Danny Trevathan, Josh Allen of the Jaguars, not the Bills. Lynn Bowden Jr. Shout out to all y'all. Alright, moving on from football. I know that was brief, but I don't have too much to say about the NFL. But NBA is back. Yes, indeed. The NBA is back. My team, the Dallas Mavericks, we're 1-2 right now, but the NBA season, it's a long season. It's normally 82 games. This year they're only playing 72, but again, it's a long season. I do believe that Dallas, even though we're 1-2 right now, I do believe that Dallas is going to have a good season. I do believe once Porzingis comes back healthy, we'll be straight. But probably not going to win a championship this year or anytime soon because LeBron is still LeBron. Lakers re-signed Anthony Davis to a long-term contract. Lakers going to be tough to beat. They really are. I mean, they lost the opening night game against the Clippers, but they put a hurting on my Mavericks. I mean, the Lakers, they got 5 or 6 guys who can go out there and score 20 points on any given night. LeBron, AD, Kuzma sometimes, KCP sometimes, Dennis Schroeder, and Montrezl Harrell. They tough. I mean, I think the Lakers are a little bit better than what they were last year. I mean, I do believe that the NBA Finals is going to be the Lakers versus the Nets, with the Lakers winning in 6. Now, of course, I could always be wrong, but I mean, based on what I've seen right now, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat those two teams. They're deep. Both teams are deep. Both teams got 2 star players. Both teams are I guess you could say well coached. I mean, Frank Vogel is a good coach. the jury's still out there on Steve Nash, but I mean, both teams are rolling, and I think, it's gonna be hard for me to. It's hard for me to see any team beating the Lakers or the Nets, because out west, I think, everyone says the Clippers are the biggest threat to the Lakers, but I don't think so. For a couple reasons. Well, number one, Paul George. Yeah, he's an all-star player, but dude sucks when the going gets tough. Paul George is great in the regular season, but when the playoffs come, Paul George folds like a napkin. Like, he'll have a good game here or there, but then he'll have his annual breakdown in the playoffs, and his poor performance hurts his team. We saw it last year when the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. Game 7, winner take all, Paul George only scored 10 points. Yeah, Paul George, I said it last year when the Clippers signed Paul George. Paul George will be the difference between the Clippers making it to the championship and not making it. Now, of course, I ain't the only person who said this, but if you did, if you had the same thought, you were right. Another reason why I don't think the Clippers can challenge the Lakers, because their coach is Tyronn Lue. Like, he's not even a good coach, if we're gonna be honest here. The only reason Cleveland won that championship is because of LeBron. They didn't win because of Ty Lue's coaching. So yeah, the Clippers, I don't see them as a threat. The Warriors, if Klay Thompson was healthy, maybe they'd be a threat to the Lakers. But without Klay Thompson, you can forget about the Warriors. They've lost their first couple of games by over 20 points. And they're playing the Bulls right now. Last time I looked, they was winning by like a point. But if the Warriors struggled, if they're going to struggle this bad against good teams all year long, you can forget about them making it to the finals. Now, granted, they suck right now. I do believe Golden State can make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make it past the first round. They'd be lucky if they get past the first round anyway. I think they'll probably, if they do get into the playoffs, which I do think they will, they'll probably get a 7 or 8 seed. But, that just means they're going to have to take on the Lakers or the Clippers in the first round. Or maybe my Mavericks, which I think Dallas, I think we could challenge the Lakers, especially if Porzingis is healthy. But our team is really young. We're not as experienced as the Lakers. So, the Lakers might put us out of the playoffs if we meet. So, I really think the Lakers are going to win the West again. Out East, I think the biggest challenge to the Nets, the Nets. I think the biggest challenge to the Nets is Miami. Miami, they're deep. They've got a leader, an all-star in Jimmy Butler, another all-star in Bam Adebayo. They're young, but they gained a lot of experience last year when they made it to the NBA Finals. And they're well coached. Eric Spoelstra, my personal opinion, one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA right now, along with Popovich, my guy Rick Carlisle, Nick Nurse, and Brad Stevens. I'm not including Steve Kerr. I think he's overrated as a coach. He just inherited a good situation. That's all. Not saying he's bad, but he didn't have to take the Warriors through the rebuild. He was handed the keys to a Ferrari and didn't crash it. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, yes, I think Miami is the biggest threat to Brooklyn. But, as good as Jimmy and Bam are, I just don't know if Jimmy and Bam can overcome Kyrie and KD, as well as Brooklyn's overall depth as a team. So, the finals is going to be Lakers-Nets, with the Lakers winning in 6. I could always be wrong about that, but that's how I see it. There was a point. Oh, now I remember. I almost forgot what I was going to say. I don't know if y'all watched that game, but Dallas put a hurting on the Clippers. They beat them motherfuckers by 51. Like, me being a Dallas fan, I always try to watch the Mavericks games, but I wasn't watching it. I was watching Your Honor with my wife on Showtime. Now, if you haven't seen Your Honor, you should watch it. It's a great show. I would also recommend watching Wonder Woman 1984. But back to what I was saying. So I'm sitting there watching Your Honor. I get a notification from the ESPN app, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, is this right? Dallas is really beating the Clippers by 50 going into halftime? This can't be right. Like, I know Kawhi Leonard's not playing, but damn. Are the Clippers really this bad without Kawhi Leonard? Is Paul George really... Can he really not carry this team? Like, come on. How are you losing that bad? Losing by 50 to my Mavericks, who didn't have Porzingis? Like, it's just... I don't know what to think about that, man. Like, it was funny as well as embarrassing, getting beat by 51 points. I mean, I know Kawhi Leonard is important to the team, but shit. I didn't think they would drop off that badly without Kawhi Leonard. But it is what it is. Go Mavericks. Clippers, y'all sucked tonight. And I say it again, Clipper Nation. Y'all ain't gonna win nothing with Paul George. Maybe the Clippers should trade Paul George for Jimmy Butler. Now, of course, I mean, Miami would be dumb to do that, but if they had a better secondary star for Kawhi Leonard, yeah, they would be a championship caliber team. But as long as Paul George is Paul George, as long as Paul George continues to fold in the playoffs, y'all can forget about winning a championship. But anyways, y'all, that's all I got for y'all today. Again, I would recommend Your Honor. If you're looking for some good TV shows to watch, and if you got Showtime, watch Your Honor. That's a good show. I would also recommend Wonder Woman 1984. Now, some of my friends, they didn't like it. Me personally, I liked it. Was it better than the first Wonder Woman? No, but it was still a good movie. It was still enjoyable. Well, for me at least. I mean, I would watch it again if I was bored. I mean, if I needed something to watch, yeah, I'd watch it again. Lucifer season 5, hopefully part 2 is coming soon. But if you haven't watched Lucifer season 5 yet, do so. If you haven't watched Lucifer at all, I would recommend getting Netflix and watching Lucifer, because that is one hell of a show. Shameless, good. That's another good show I would recommend. And that's pretty much all I got for y'all. Y'all have a good Sunday.